Zig here for week 15 of our coding bootcamp. We were given the assignment to create a React component to represent, some data on a single page. Um, so we had been using an API, which we call the houses API. So we could either use that or, choose an open one of our choosing that we could find online. And like I said, then create the single page that allows for all four CRUD operations to be performed, and then we source from that API. And the last instruction says that we needed to make all the forms and all the necessary UI pieces their own components. And as you can see up here, you have multiple different components. And if I were to open the Explorer, then, these are the different components: festivals list, nav, new artist form. So I had been working on this app on this website, which, a couple of weeks ago that I had some problems with, just making sure that the CRUD worked. So I decided to continue working on that by creating a form where I could actually add artists. And I'll just go, very quickly into each and every component that I did. Starting with the festivals API, which actually houses the actual endpoint, the API. And I decided to go with the mock API, which I thought would be a little easier. And of course, using fetch, you know, get and put, making sure that the data was being fetched and rendered. And moving on to festival.js. This I wanted to make sure that each artist that was being added, that we actually had a function that would add the artist and then delete the artist as well. So just pretty much just setting up some of the data that the form would be using later. And then of course, festival list. Festival list would be, what the array that would contain all the different festivals that get added, as you can see on the right side of the screen, which took me a little bit of time to actually put together. And then nav.js, I wanted to make sure that at the top that we had something to kind of navigate. Since this is a single page, I didn't build anything for about or contact, which could be other pages that were I to click on them, then, it would take us through those pages. So I added an image, which I guess did not work. Like I refreshed. I'll look into that later. So that should be pretty easy. And then of course, I added a few more classes into this, making sure, I was adding color and whatnot, and, aligning an app that CSS, once you build the React app, it does come with some default classes, and, you just go in and actually add more, depending on how and what you want your app to look like. So this is what the app looks like at the end of the day. Try to make it pretty, where if you would add a festival, you would add, well, this is actually for the artist. So the festival, like I said, this I already had an API. I had a repository that actually had some data previously, so it had festival names and whatnot, and this form itself was what the assignment focused on, which was pretty much a form adding, different artists into the festival that would be, added to the artist lineup. All right. In short, that was it.